It's 94.7 Blair Radio, our nonprofit news brought to us by RVR Bank. And just want to say again, thank you to them for being great sponsors, making sure information gets out through Blair Radio and all of our social media and sharing with that. You can certainly share us everywhere you go as well. And today we are talking with Jake Dunn with the City of Blair and wanted to get some things caught up as we are getting towards the late part of summer, and a lot of things happening. We've been seeing a lot of different posts come out. We can talk about different things, construction going on around the area, but how about what's going on with the pool and water and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, the heat comes and the water issues follow behind it. So the pool's still going on with some mechanical issues. Hoping, fingers crossed, that we can get it up and going today. I know I talked to the public works staff about 20 minutes before I came here, and they're actively over there working on it. Nothing too detrimental. It's just when you work with pools, you got to deal with the chemicals and balancing them out and everything for safety. So just erring on the side of caution. The goal is to hopefully open today. But again, like you mentioned, we'll check our social media. That's going to be the easiest way to get it out to you. Something like this isn't constitute an emergency alert. We don't want to really abuse that emergency alert system for something about the pool just being closed. Some questions were raised yesterday on social media about why didn't we get an alert. Like you got to find the happy medium. You don't want to wear out something like that that's meant to be for a bigger deal. So again, something like that, check our social media. We have 5 different platforms, and then we try to share it into like the community pages like Blair Gossip and so forth.
Yeah, and then we always share that when we see it as well. So make sure people are aware of things like that. Now on Monday, people may have thought that was an emergency, 100-degree day, no pool.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
of course, the hottest day of the year, our pool has issues. So.
Yeah. So, but beyond that, again, it's just it's maintenance that you have no control over some things sometimes.
Exactly, and sometimes it just takes time. Like again, err on the side of caution, don't rush it. So.
All right, but that leads into water.
Yes, watering schedule. From my understanding, the City of Blair has not done something like this in a good amount of time. Do want to start it with that we're not running out of water. We got plenty of water. The water plant, water treatment plant guys down there, guys and gals do an amazing job pumping out millions of gallons of water each and every day. This is more or less just a precaution, keeping the reservoirs filled, up at Black Elk, the water tower and stuff like that. So that way there's evenly distribution across the city, but also for emergency services. I mean, something hot like this and we get a fire, we're going to need a lot of water and we're going to need it fast. So that way it doesn't spread, especially with how dry it's starting to get. So it's just more like just a precaution. People are worried that, the city's running out of water. We aren't running out of water. It's just trying to be proactive. You'll see several municipalities in the area have done it. I mean, as soon as we put ours out yesterday, Gretna followed suit about 2-3 hours after us. So it's something blanket across the region with the heat that we're having.
Well, I actually saw Arlington did that before you guys did. So there's communities all around us that are looking at this. And one aspect that you guys mentioned is just the infrastructure to be able to deliver. It's the delivery system, but you did indicate that there is talks or something you're trying to figure out how to make sure this doesn't happen in the future this way.
And exactly. And that's the thing is we're not just going to throw our hands up and say, don't water your lawn. We're going to try to fix it. The water plant, they're in different phases right now of getting it built bigger and stronger and stuff like that. But it comes down to just like the pipes. You can only push so much water through so many big pipes. And, there was some criticism out there that, industrial park takes a lot of it. That's a whole different water system. This again is just, I can't stress enough, it's just a precaution. There's no emergency, there's no issue, no boil notice is coming or anything like that. It's just, try to conserve as much as you can.
Right. And so you were doing even number, odd numbers, rotating days, but nothing on Monday.
Yep, we're going to try to give, so what we've seen right now, the study is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are sort of our stress days right now. And that's usually everybody's watering schedule with their sprinkler systems and stuff like that. So Mondays, we're asking that people try to not water on Mondays. And then your even addresses, so if your address, like for example, if it's 848, it ends in an even number in 8, we're asking that you water on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And then odd addresses, if it was like 541, ends in a 1, it's an odd number, do Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And again, it's totally voluntary. We're not having anybody out there that's going to say, hey, you're not supposed to be watering. But, just try to help the community, be a community partner out there and help one another out.
Well, one of the things that I did see, just as a notice, and I think this is general, it doesn't matter whether you're in a water issue or not, don't water the streets.
Yeah, exactly.
So make sure your sprinkler heads are aimed where they're supposed to be.
Exactly. Or even your driveway. Your driveway doesn't need any water. So make sure the sprinkler heads, it's good to check them once in a while too. So
Yeah, so but again, it was just during this time. And I think you wanted to stress that it's because of more so delivery to homes, but emergency situations. If you have a fire call, then you could be in trouble.
exactly. We use a lot of water very fast, and we don't want to be waiting for water.
Okay. All right. So then we can certainly work through this, and it's just a short-term thing during just the peak heat.
Exactly. We said to go through the end of August, but we'd rather have it be long than and end it earlier than keep saying every week, hey, we need to continue, so forth. So,
Right.
like this week it's supposed to cool off a little bit. Next week's supposed to get a little hotter. So we'll keep evaluating over the next couple weeks and hopefully end it sooner than August.
And if anybody's like me out there, I enjoy my lawn not growing as quickly.
Exactly. Less mowing.
Less mowing. So, all right, then let's move on. What else do we have coming up? Oh, it is the police department is working on a project.
Yes, the police department. The next couple things we want to talk about. They're getting very busy. The men and women over there at the police department do an amazing job. They have National Night Out coming up August 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Generations Park. This will be the second year in a row it's out at Generations Park, moving over from Lions just with more room over there. They're doing some bigger and better things this year. They're going to have some free food. They're going to get LifeNet's going to land, so you can see the LifeNet helicopter. Sheriff's Department will be there. Blair Fire Department will be there. A lot of community partners. National Guard. You got a couple of the banks in town and everything. So
and we'll be there as well.
Exactly.
So yeah,
there'll be dunk tanks. Dunk tanks, face painting. The animal shelter will be there. It'll be a great night. So. Yeah. Come out and enjoy it. Come see your first responders and hang out with the PD.
And then we'll be talking with Officer Titus tomorrow about this. So more details on that specific for them.
I'll let her say all the good stuff then.
All right. So there you go. And then Safe Streets for All. What's that about?
So Safe Streets for All. So that's a federal grant the City of Blair received. It's all about doing a safety action plan for the streets in the trails throughout the City of Blair. So it's available on our website. It's under Public Works, and then you'll look for the Federal Safe Street and Roads Program for All. And what you can do is you can go in and put in comments, and you can drop it on a map. You can just file one out. But, like 19th and Washington, we know has been a safety concern to some people in the past. So this action plan, I know people think, well, it's just another plan. It's something that we're going to do to, take action on it. So it's federally funded. It's not coming out of taxpayer dollars or here or anything local like that. And we're using it to just try to develop a better system, looking at close to the school, roads next to the school, the trail system. What can we do to make sure that it is safe for all the residents in town?
Yeah. Well, and then you talk about like truck traffic and things like that downtown. I know that we actually looked at the round bank building the week before, but the foundation was destroyed because of years and years of truck traffic. The vibrations destroyed the foundation. So that's kind of things like that. You have to look at those things.
Exactly, and then part of that is they're going to hopefully help us get a little push on the state. CJ at the city's been doing an amazing job. He's been pushing the state, Nebraska DOT, to officially move Highway 30 to the bypass. To push that truck route to the bypass. That's what the bypass is for, and try to relieve some of that pressure on downtown. But this is something that helps push the state more. If this isn't in a developed plan that we have a firm help us, it's not just the city asking for it. It's proven data out there that says that, hey, we need to do this, and it's safer to do this.
Right, and you just said something there that kind of reminded me, because I've dealt with this in other areas, that we may put in a bypass and stuff like that, but if the federal and state does not adjust the traffic flow, then the truck drivers will follow the GPS wherever the state tells them to go.
Exactly, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but CJ keeps telling us too that once we move the federal highway to the bypass, we have a little bit more of a pull and that we can do with truck traffic that comes downtown, that goes through downtown. If they don't follow the highway routes and everything like that, that's something that we could start pushing a little bit more.
Anyway, sorry, a little bit of a rabbit trail there, but that people keep asking, and it's like I have heard of some ideas, and I have kind of an idea, and you mentioned that, so it's like, okay, just refresh what I've heard in the past.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough, like since the bypass has been done, the city's been working diligently to get this done. It's just a lot of red tape to get through, and again, like this action plan it's federally funded. It's through a grant, and it's just to help make Blair safer.
Right. Well, speaking of federally fundings, so a big topic has been in the past however many months, FEMA. Tell me a little bit what's going on. Do we have any updates?
FEMA is a lovely agency to work with. Let me tell you. No, I love the FEMA partners we have. So since the August 9th storm, that was the last big storm that really came through and affected the city. We've been working diligently with FEMA for funding to help in the recovery efforts of it. We have 4 major projects we've been working on. Our Project A is how they classify it. That worked on the cleanup. That's going to cover and pay for majority of the man hours of all our public works guys that picked up branches off the curb, and also it pays for the cost of the tree piles and the mulching of all that. So right now the city paid for that, but this funding we get back sort of replenishes that cost. That helps with recovery efforts of like that. We have a Project B that's all emergency services, so the PD man hours, the fire department man hours, stuff like that to help replenish what they used and went through the day of the storm. And then the 2 big ones that the public really want to know is we're working on 2 Category C projects, and that's going to be sort of like your waterways. One's the Cobble Creek Trail up there behind Good Shepherd off of College Drive. Obviously, there's if you haven't been up there, it's about 150-foot section of trail got washed away. Public Works is doing its best to keep it cordoned off, but the cost to redo this is so heavy right now that we're waiting for the FEMA funding to come in. It's close to almost $500,000 just to replace reshore the creek line, the creek bed and everything so this doesn't happen again, and restore that part of the trail. So again, bear with us as we work through this process with FEMA. We're in the engineering phase right now of how to engineer it properly so this doesn't happen again. To get Cobble Creek back up to par, but then also the other Category C project, that's the 4th project we're working on, is just the rest of the waterways through town. Obviously, the August 9th storm was sort of that 100-year flood we had with all the rain and water. Hopefully we don't see it again for 100 years, but if it happens again, how can we make sure that the creeks sustain? And a lot of that's cleaning out creek beds and stuff like that and getting some of that debris that's down there. And again, it isn't free to do it. It's a lot of manpower, especially some of these big trees. You're going to have to get some backhoes and stuff down there to grapple it and come and get it out. So we're working with FEMA just because we want to be diligent with the taxpayer dollars out there and use FEMA funding if it's available. So we're actively pursuing that and doing it in that aspect. And that's all recovery. And then we're in the early stages of looking at some grant funding through FEMA to try to do some mitigation efforts. Another one is like some emergency generators for our public safety agencies, the police and fire department, make sure they have generators, and then looking at emergency shelters and stuff like that too. So city is being very proactive and trying to make sure we're prepared properly for the next storm, but also make sure that we recover correctly as well.
All right, and so I just wanted to follow up on some things I heard a little bit back there.
Yeah.
So that, for example, city was able to go ahead and do some funding, or on some things you're just taking out a bucket A to try to cover bucket B, and then the funding from FEMA comes back to replenish that bucket A, which already had a budget, right?
Yep. So, the city always puts in some emergency funding so that if a storm comes in or something like that. So when that is replenished, you try to take it from bucket A to pay for bucket B and stuff like that. And we're diligent with the taxpayers' money so that now with this FEMA funding coming back, we can put that money back and use it for projects got pushed because of, we had to take care of the picking up of all the tree limbs and everything, and then paying to get it mulched and cleaned up and stuff like that. So now we can get some of these other projects back on track that may have been able to take a little bit of a time delay.
Right, and with small projects, that's much easier to be able to talk about. A $500,000 plus project, that's not a bucket A to bucket B situation.
Exactly, and that's why I can't stress enough. I know people have been frustrated with the Cobble Creek. It's still passable up there, like I said. The whole trail's not gone, but again, just be careful when you're up there. The Public Works does a great job checking every day to make sure that the fencing and everything's still there. But that's just such a big project right now with the engineering of doing it and making sure that we don't experience it again.
All right, so that is, and if anybody has questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, reach out, and if you have ideas or different methods or anything like that, please let us know.
All right, and if there's a ton of volunteers, you take them.
Exactly, yeah.
So that is, again, continuous updates will be coming.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now we're getting into meetings and talking about them here a little bit. Last night we had the library meeting as well as the airport authority meeting, and a lot of things going on at the airport.
Exactly, a lot that I try to keep up with it a little bit. the airport, the biggest thing is the runways extension projects going on right now. So they're looking to, right now they're in the process of, I believe it's County Road 35, County Road 38, sort of relocating that. They've worked with the county planning and zoning, county agencies out there to make, get this all approved. And so now we're actually doing it to extend the runway. People don't realize it. And, Aaron Barrow, that helps with the airport, he does a really good job of explaining this. The Blair Executive Airport is sort of like a pit stop along the highway across the United States. People don't want to wait in the long line at Epley to get down, get fuel, use the bathroom, whatever it may be, and then wait a couple hours to get back up in the air. Whereas Blair, you could stop, you can hit a pit stop real quick, and you're right back up in the air. So our airport's growing, the traffic is there, and they're putting on more hangars as well, and there's been a lot of reservations for people asking to get in the hangars. So it's a good time to be part of that Blair Airport right now.
So does that translate into more revenue because you have more traffic dropping in, taking breaks, getting fuel before they take off?
Exactly. The revenue comes up. So, and a lot of the work that's being done with the airport has been done through grants as well. That's what sort of delayed that, is getting some grants as well, getting some outside donors to help fund the airport. But also, like you said, you stop and get some jet fuel. Jet fuel ain't cheap, so that's for sure.
Yeah, talk about, go talk to your local racers in that one. So.
Exactly.
So, okay, so then, but just keep an eye on social media regarding like what's happening with the construction, where the roads are being blocked, and what's being moved around.
And there's a dedicated page on the airport page on our city website that has these updates. We're working with Olson out there. Olson's doing a great job of keeping us up to date, giving us pictures and everything, so that way we know what roads close, what we're doing here. And so we update that on the website, and then we try to push it on social media as well. So if you ever have any questions about the airport, check the airport page. Trevor Corey is our airport manager out there. You can reach out to Trevor as well. He's very good to work with. So,
all right. And then speaking of meetings, coming up, next city council meeting next week, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
And so anything major on the agenda, or is it just kind of more of a general meeting?
General meeting. I know the police department's swearing in their new officer, which I believe brings them to full strength. So that's amazing for the Blair Police Department. Chief Kinsey and his team are doing amazing things over there. Fire department, we have a couple cadets moving to senior cadets. So those high school kids that bust their tail for the fire department, recognize them. And then some general planning and zoning, just general planning and zoning issues coming up. And again, check our city website for the agenda. Always keep checking it. We usually try to post it on Sunday beforehand and everything, and then always check the live stream. We're thankful to you guys for putting the live stream up. So
yeah, you're very welcome. It's actually we talked about this for doing a long time. Finally able to get it all put together and get it all worked out. So it's been a great partnership. Appreciate you guys letting us do that. And then August 4th is your planning commission meeting.
Yep. So we're back into, the next Tuesday is the last council meeting of July, and then you're right back into it. Every Tuesday night there's some sort of, council meeting or, committee meeting at City Hall. So if you ever want your voice heard, make sure you check the website and the calendar and come out and have your voice heard.
All right. Well, that, I think, is a lot.
It's a lot.
As we've jumped into 18 minutes. So, again, thank you for listening and watching, being a part of this. But, again, it just goes back around. You guys are trying to be a lot more open, a lot more flexible, and be able to get people directed to where their questions can get answered accurately and rapidly.
Exactly. And like I said, the city's here all about being transparent, and any resident has any questions, please let us know. Reach out, via the official lines through our city website, or if you have something that's not important, or not as important, you can message us on social media and we'll get back as soon as we can. But again, if it's something that's of urgency, please check the city website for the proper email or phone number to reach out, and we'll get back to you.
All right. Go to blairne.gov and click on the bear.
There you go. Well, yeah, the bear. Then there's gonna be a new bear coming, hopefully in the next week. So
yeah, so that's coming up. You're changing bears. The bear's growing up.
Bear's growing up. No more, not a cub, now a bear.
Okay. So, well, thank you for coming in. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, because you can see when people do and they get involved, things happen. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.